Oh, I thought her meditation was beautiful. I really loved what she said about the meditation and calming yourself and your breath, taking yourself to a calmer space and it reflecting on you because we hold on. Our breath is so powerful. That's why I call it breath medication because it's so easy to throw out toxins out of our system through our breath. We really undermine the value of our breath and we undermine the value of our mind when we bring ourselves into that space of meditation and we can shift into that rest and digest mode, which we call the parasympathetic nervous system. We actually can eliminate stress hormones like cortisol. And as we eliminate them, it does show up on our face. It does show up on our skin. Very often when you see people have performed a series of breathwork techniques or meditation techniques, you look at them and you say, oh, you look so calm. There's something very different about your presence. You're glowing. And that happens because you're actually shifting yourself from that space of stress into a space of calm. And you're also throwing toxins out of your body. Neetaji's products, I think, are fantastic. I think she has
And Seema, from next year, when you're in Africa, you can join hands with Neeta, Vaishali, Amrita, Bindu, a lot of our group people who've got similar interest and consultation, and maybe even exploit the products for the betterment of women beauty and self-care. So Amrita, you, Seema, Vaishali, Bindu, Hiral, if you just could group up and see how we can cross-sell each other. Reena can join as well because she likes doing consultation with her expertise. Amrita, time to welcome Reena now in Israel. We cover every continent at Healing Our Earth. So let's cover Israel, where Reena is going to introduce Satsung and tell us chit chat with each other. So Amrita, Reena, and Satsung, all over to you for more.
Thank you, everyone. I would like to just I would like to say I meditate every day. I teach a class of meditation and it's in the mornings. If you like to join my free meditation class, please join every day.
Definitely. So you can use Neeta natural herbal products and meditate with Neetaji as well and join her classes. She'll be giving Ayurveda tips along with meditation tips. Wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. Please stay around. And it's time to move to Israel, where we have our lovely friend and my student. And also I can see Heather and we have Rena and Satsang. Global Namaste to you. A very warm welcome, Rena.
Global Namaste, Dr. Amrita. I want to give you a big hug. I haven't seen you in such a long
Me too.
And Heather, I wasn't expecting you to be here, so it's nice to see that you are here. But really, we're here for satsang. Satsang, I'm so excited to be here with you. Thank you for joining us today. Oh, we can't hear you, Satsang.
Oh, you can't hear me? Hold on.
Now I can. Now I can.
Okay, I have to get closer to my mic. Okay, so
Yes,
Global
please.
Namaste. I'm so happy to be here and happy that Heather Sage is here too. And I just want to talk about another thing that was internal. We were talking about this. We were talking about self-care and self-love. And I wanted to talk about confidence today.
Yeah, so I really see you as someone who is an expert in confidence, and I know that you have modalities that I've actually used with you, your Bach flowers, which I find are amazing and just like a little secret that I wish everybody knows about. So tell us all about them, and also human design, which has also helped me to increase my confidence. So take it away, Satsang.
Okay, and ask me questions whenever if I get off track or anything like that. So I'm actually talking a little less about Bach flowers and human design today, but Bach flowers, I believe, can heal the world. They're flower essences, just a bit of background, and I adore them. I'm going to mention them a teeny bit. And human design is a way to get us to know ourselves more deeply. But what I'm going to do is talk about sort of a mindset thing that's really transformed my life, because in the big picture, what I do is I help people when people come to me, I help them sort of uncover the patterns underneath what's going on with them. And I use Bach flowers in human design for this. But what I'm talking about today is about building confidence, because I feel that confidence is very important to self-care, because it's only once we feel confident in ourselves that we can really take care of ourselves and put ourselves first. So credit where credit is due. A lot of this comes from a book that I read, completely transforming for me. I read it only late March. I'm now my 5th reading of this book, and so it's completely changed my life. It's called The Gap and the Gain. It talks about measuring success in our wins as a way of building confidence. So I'm just going to start how we normally do, and Rena, jump in whenever. If you feel anything's going off track, or if any questions, please jump in. Okay.
You're doing great.
Okay. So what this talks about is how we can really measure what we've accomplished in life and our successes in a way that really helps us. So the way that in general we're taught to measure our success is we start from where we are right now, and then we look ahead to what our goals are and what our ideals are, and we sort of measure the difference between where we are now and where we want to be. And looking at our goals is useful, but it's not a very good way of measuring success, because we never get there, because the human condition is that we're always striving for more. And so when we reach a goal, we're always moving beyond that, which is a good thing, because it keeps us moving, keeps us developing and opening up and learning new things. But in terms of measurement, it's not good. And that's why sometimes, or many times, you'll see someone who on the outside might look successful, but they feel like they're not successful inside, because they always see this gap between where they are now and where they want to be. So what I started doing since late March, when I read this book for the first time, is doing what is suggested, which is we start where we are now, and then we measure backwards. We look at where we came from, whether it's that day, that week, that quarter, that year, whatever it happens to be, and we actually measure what we've done. And as a way of building confidence, leading to us taking care of ourselves, it's amazing, because we look at actually what we've done. And what I initially did is I look at a quarter, which is suggested. This was late March. And I felt like during that quarter, I'd done nothing. Anyone living in Israel in March of this year knows there was a lot going on. And I just felt in many ways that over the previous 90 days, nothing had got done. So I looked at my calendar, and to see, in doing this exercise. And although a calendar is not the best way to see what I had done, it's just things I planned, I was still blown away. I looked back and I saw that I had actually done a huge amount of things. And with that, my confidence really grew, because I came from a place where I thought I accomplished nothing to realizing that a lot had gone on. And with this confidence, I also started dreaming bigger dreams and doing more things. And so I think it's very, very valuable. And it's very, very valuable for women, because I think the bigger we dream and the more confidence we have, the bigger changes we can make in this world for good. And so that is the basic thing, is that we start where we are, and then we measure backwards from where we were. And I really, really encourage everyone here to try it out. I really encourage trying it out for maybe the past 90 days, and then doing it every month. You can do it every day. And for me, it's been life transforming. And I just think it's a really, really powerful exercise to do. And what also happened around the time of my second reading of the book is there's a few other things I want to talk about, of ways to increase your wins. And one of the things is to share with somebody. And so I wrote my mom, and after I read the book the second time, and I said, you want to do this exercise where we share together our wins and gratitude for the day. And so we've been doing that ever since. My mother and I now, we text each other once or twice a day. And each time we say 3 things for which we're grateful, and then 3 wins we have or we want to get. And like anything, the more you focus on things, the bigger it is in your life. Whether it's because you're focusing, you see it, or also energetically you draw more in. And it's just a way of building on itself. So I just really, really, really recommend that. if you have questions right now, Rena, I can answer them, or I can keep going on, whatever it is that
I don't have
you would
questions,
like.
but I
Okay.
do have things that I could respond to, and I'm debating if I should just let you finish and then I'll talk, or if you want to pause for a moment and I'll talk and then we'll go back to you. What do you prefer?
Why don't I go through 3 more points and then we'll go to all of your reflections. So
Great. Sounds good.
I just wanted to mention a few other things that were suggested, and which for me personally has been very valuable in terms of also maximizing the wins that we notice in ourselves to increase our confidence, increase what we do in this world. And the first of these is to remember always that we're responsible for the stories we tell ourselves about what's happened to us. We're the ones that are able to change the narrative of our pasts and turn our experiences into wins. And what I'm saying here is not toxic positivity. I am so against that if something hard has come, but I also really do believe that almost everything, if not everything we experience in life, can be reframed as a win and a positive experience, even if it's in the matter of just learning from it, or even if it's just having got through it and I'm still alive and I'm still breathing and I've still learned. And so that in itself, I think, is also very, very important in terms of taking control of your past and being responsible for the stories you tell, because there's nothing objective completely. We all know people have gone through the same experiences, and some of them come out stronger and some of them don't. And now, Rena, you've talked about this a lot as well. So this is another way to increase your wins, to see everything as a learning experience, the things that you maybe didn't go out that well, and a win because we've learned. And another thing that's helped me a lot is being very, very clear about what my goals are, because the clearer we are about our goals, the more we can stay on track and make the change in the impact that we want in our lives, and have more successes and more wins, and the whole cycle of confidence. And going back to Bach flowers and to human design, this can really help in terms of being clear about our goals. Bach flowers, some that might help depending on what your situation is. Walnut is very good for having us listen to ourselves and not to others. Sometimes we get off track with our goals because of what others tell us, or what we might believe others are wanting to tell us, and we're not clear about what's good for ourselves. The Bach flower Serrato is also really good for this in terms of trusting our judgment and trusting our inner voice more. And human design can be very helpful in terms of having greater self-awareness and access to our inner voice as well. And not to compare ourselves to others. So if you compare yourself to others, the Bach flower Willow can help with that. In many ways, comparison is the opposite of confidence, because when we listen to ourselves and just look within, that's when we're stronger. And the very last thing is related to this, is that once we're clear about our goals, it's easier to stay on track and not get sucked into other people's goals, because people are enthusiastic about what they're enthusiastic about. And when we're clear about what we want, it's easier to stay on track. So the big thing, if you'll get only one thing out of it, is just make an effort to measure backwards when you're looking at what your successes are, and what your wins are, and what you've accomplished. And I would really, really encourage you, it took me like about 15 minutes to do for a quarter. I really encourage you after this to really try it out and see how it works. And then to do all the things you can in terms of building your wins, which is, again, to take control of your past. Remember, you control your story. And to be clear about your goals. Talk to your mom and share text messages about gratitude and wins, and not get distracted from your goals. And that's basically it. So I'd love to hear your reflections, Rena.
Wow, Satsang, I am so appreciative of you sharing all of this. It's really inspiring to hear. I have so many reflections. I wrote them down. First of all, I love that you summed it up at the end with just, let's be clear, the main takeaway is measure backwards and build your wins. And I loved that you also mentioned using the calendar as a way that I do the same thing. It helps to, like, just to jog my memory. What are the things that I really did? And I lived through March with you here. So for people who don't know, we were running back and forth to bomb shelters, and things, normal life just wasn't really happening. And it's really easy to, like, we were in survival mode, and it's really easy to then see how everything else is on pause. And it's really amazing that you were able to say, like, something needs to shift inside of me so that I can keep moving forwards in a way that's confident and purposeful. And you did that. So, kol hakavod, which is Hebrew, it means all the respect to you. Really great job. A lot of what you said that I wanted to, well, I think you touched on this, but I'm going to ask you a question and then I'll do some more reflecting. It might be a hard question. It's something I grapple with a lot, but this dissonance between goals, as on the one hand, being really helpful, as you said, for staying on track and being really clear with our goals, and on the other hand, not using them as a measurement because we're always continuously growing. Can you speak about that for a moment?
Absolutely. So I agree with you. I have never been able to write a business plan. I have no idea what I'm doing 5 years, 3 years, next month. No idea at all. But yet there's certain goals that are really important to me. And I have, for instance, an overarching goal, excuse me, like for instance, and then which is I really want to make an impact and to really help people through modalities like human design and Bach flowers. But what I did is I have like what I did about 3 months ago for the next 3 months, which was May, June, July. I tried to have 3 things that were of priorities to me. I ended up writing 5 things that were priorities, but things I wanted to focus on. One, for instance, was getting a lot better at human design. One was getting more regular at running again. One was to take care of myself emotionally and mentally and physically. I had a few other things. I forget what they were. It came to 5. And so I have these on a whiteboard close to my desk. And I look at them. And it was really interesting because I was thinking the other day how I really have done all of these. And so they're sort of vague goals. And even, I'll tell you one thing that really helped me a lot. There's one situation about a month and a half ago. There was an event to go to, and I was really torn. Like there was very good arguments pro or con, and usually I have good intuition, but I just was torn. And so what I did is I got up and I walked to my whiteboard and I looked at the list of 5 items, and I saw that this event did not fall into any of those 5 categories. And that was my decision. So I agree with you. It's hard for me to have specific goals. I also have very changeable intuition, but they're like, I would say maybe for me, they're priorities in my life. Maybe that would be a better word for me, is priorities, but things that are very strongly priorities.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. I love that concrete example that you weren't sure about this decision, and because you had written your goals or to think about them as priorities, that you were able to see really clearly this is a no. That's a really, really helpful strategy. And I see here London Lata wrote in the chat she agrees with you, and that it's also important that we remember to celebrate our small wins. And I want to just talk about that for a moment, and I'm going to talk a little bit about myself, if you allow me. That's okay, because a lot of what you shared here is actually what I do with my health coaching clients. And I am trained as a health coach. I've been working as a health coach for 5 years, but I'm actually right now pursuing my board certification as a health coach, which means I'm in another training course. And as I work through the training course, I'm remembering so much of health coaching. Like a lot of people think that health coaching is like, I know so much about health or I know so much about nutrition. But the reality is, I know a lot about changing our habits and changing our behaviors. And that's exactly what you spoke about here. And that's really the framework of what I do with clients, is creating goals. And it's a really important part of the process to reflect on the goals and see how we are as we move towards them, see if certain goals got met, and then we stretch to further goals, see if certain people have a habit of overstretching and maybe the goals need to be made a little bit smaller, and pausing to reflect along the way on our progress. And I always ask my clients fill out a form between sessions, and the first question is, what positive changes have you noticed between this session and our last session? So they're cultivating that for themselves. And then my programs are 7 months, and at the end of the 7 months, spoiler alert, in case anybody here ever becomes a client of mine, the final session is what I call the success celebration. And I compile a list of all the positive changes that clients have shared with me and also that I wrote down in our sessions. And then the client reads them out. And it's a whole ceremony that we do. And so many people, and I actually do this even if it's not health coaching, I'll do it with other clients as well that I'm teaching. And so many people, they'll like, I'll always ask them, like, okay, now before they don't know that I have this list, it's a surprise for them. So I'll invite them to write down what they believe were their successes. Most people come up with like 2, 3, maybe 5. And then I surprise them with like 100 items that they've accomplished. And it's like this moment of like, whoa, I really have accomplished a lot. And the way that I always describe it to them and that I think is so relevant with everything that you shared is that I believe with life, I always envision it like a mountain, that we're climbing a mountain and we never really get to the top, but we can pause and look at the view. And even if we've made it 50 meters or 100 meters up and we pause and there's a lookout point, there's already going to be a beautiful view there. And then as we continue moving, like no one climbs a whole mountain without taking any breaks. You're always going to take a break and take a sip of water and pause and look out at the view. And that's what's so important to do, and so amazing that you have found this book. And I love, like, that's really what I do with my health coaching clients. And I love that you brought it up with this book where it's really the both and. It's okay, let's make space for pausing and looking backwards so that I have the confidence to be able to look forwards and create goals and move forwards in that way. So is that a good summary of what you just shared?
That is perfect. And I love that with your clients, you're always looking backwards and counting their wins. I think that is so amazing. And it's such a gift to them at the end to receive that. I think it's just beautiful, 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 beautiful.
Amazing, amazing. And I can also speak, having been a client of yours, those Bach flowers gave me so much confidence. And at a time when I really was struggling with sleep, and that can impact confidence a lot, I was able to sleep and maintain my confidence. And human design for me to this day, I'll share a story. On Friday, I was sitting at my kitchen table, which is right in front of my front door, and I keep the front door open now because there's a nice breeze and it's really hot otherwise. And my next door neighbor popped her head over to say hi, and I had my computer out and I was listening to somebody speak about money. I've been doing a lot of learning about money. And she looked at me and she said, do you like take a day off for rest? And I was like, yeah, I always take a day off for rest. And she's like, okay, good. At least you take one day. And then she walked away and I thought to myself, I'm like, I'm not working right now, but she thinks that I'm working. And like for a moment I was hard on myself of like, do I not rest enough? And then I remembered and I thought of you, Satsang. I thought, I'm a generator. I get my energy from doing things. This person is a projector. And she, like you, who's also a projector, needs rest. So it's really hard for someone who's different to see me being this energizer bunny and knowing that like that's actually filling me up.
Exactly. And that's the amazing, one of the many amazing things about human design is because oftentimes we assume it's a natural human thing that people are like us unless we learn otherwise. And we can learn so much about other people and why they are a certain way. And I feel that builds so much acceptance of other people and also ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because were I not to know human design, I think, why do I work so much less than Rena? And now it's obvious because we're both following what's natural, how we're naturally designed.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you so much. You really brought so much to me, I'm sure to all of the listeners. Dr. Amrita, what do you have to say?
Well, I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much. It brought so much to me to be here. I'm so touched you invited me, that everybody did. And thank you so much for having me.
You are so welcome.
Well, I would like to have 2-3 minutes of yours again to discuss few things. What are your thoughts about? We had other guests with us who had been discussing about the radiance of the skin, about the care that we must give to ourselves and nourishing ourselves. What are your thoughts, Satsang, for that? And I know Rena also has to say something more about it. Over to you.
About nourishing the skin?
Yes, nourishing the skin and taking care of yourself.
Absolutely. And I think for everybody, different things are important. For me, it's very important to take care of my skin. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think part of, self-care is, I think everybody has different areas that are more important to them. but it's both inside and outside. We're a being that's both inside, outside, in our aura. And so taking care of all aspects of that is ideal. Absolutely. I completely agree with you.
Yeah, definitely. I love that you bring in all of it inside, outside the aura. And yeah, I mean, Dr. Amrita, you know, I've talked a lot about skin on here. You, when was it? 9 years ago, were the first person to tell me to start using olive oil on my skin. And to this day, that's what I use as my moisturizer, and I love it. And it's like weird to me that other people don't. And like I sometimes walk into my friends' bathrooms, I'm like, why are there so many facial products? Like I just have one, it's just olive oil. Not from a place of judgment, from a place of like wonder and awe, like, oh my, like there's so many products out there. So yeah, that's that. I have been having a lot of dry skin recently. And like I use the olive oil on my face, but I don't always moisturize other parts of my body. So now I've started using the olive oil to moisturize other parts of my body. My arms particularly have been getting itchy. A naturopath that I'm working with suggested that I make my own calendula oil. So I haven't got the calendula yet because I just haven't been back to the store, but I'm intending to take some calendula, put it in some oil, and then let that sit for a month and then start to use that on my skin. She also suggested that I make my own exfoliant. So I got some sand from the beach. I went today, I bought some sugar and some salt. So I'm going to make a little exfoliant for that. And probably my favorite thing is someone told me recently that red rocks from the beach can be used to scrape the dead skin from the bottom of your foot. So I have a really good rock that I found from the beach. It's nice and red. I use that to scrape my feet. And like others have said already, what's happening on the outside is really a reflection of what happens on the inside. And personally, I'm finishing up a detox that I've been doing for about the last 2 weeks. I'm finally coming out of it, reintroducing more vegetables today. So I'm noticing my skin looks particularly shiny. Maybe it's because of the detox. Yeah, that's what I have to say about skin.
Yeah, that's nice. What kind of detox are you taking? I think time to time, because we also had Anjay and she was talking about gut-brain axis. We were discussing about it and how important it is to take care of the gut for the women is also one part of it. And I know you have been taking a lot of, like you use a lot of detoxification methods. Would you like to recommend the women in our episode and all our viewers what detox are good and best you have found personally and your recommendations for women for cyclic periods or in general?
Yeah, well, what I would say for cyclical periods, there's a lot that could be said about that, but emphasizing fermented foods around menstruation, emphasizing sprouts and more live food, fresh food around ovulation, and then between kind of balancing both warmer foods around menstruation is going to help. And that menstruation itself is an opportunity for cleansing and for detoxing, so to honor that and as much as possible to create space for rest so that the blood can actually flow out. And there's a whole lot more that I could say about that. But to focus back, so I actually for a while have kind of been anti-detox because I just feel there's so much that I do in my day-to-day life and I believe that the body knows how to clean itself that I didn't think that I needed to do like a really intense detox. I don't really eat processed food. I eat mostly fresh food, mostly fresh vegetables, a lot of fresh vegetables. But realizing I was having a lot of bloating. And so I went to a naturopath and I said, I'm having a lot of bloating. My best effort isn't helping, and I need some help here. And she did a whole intake, and then she said, I want to put you on a detox. And I said, okay, I'm ready. Whatever you suggest, here I am. And my first suggestion is that for people who want to do a detox or feel called to, or just are experiencing symptoms, to do it with the supervision of a professional because this detox that I'm doing is pretty intense and I do not recommend doing it without proper supervision. I can say that the first week was kind of weaning into it, where I focused on eating just a lot of vegetables, sprouted lentils or beans, and whole grain rice. And then the second week, which was like the actual intense part of the detox, I was eating only green vegetables, a lot of green vegetables, sprouted mung beans, and rice. That's it. And a shake in the morning that had just a little bit of pineapple and blueberries, and otherwise was mostly greens and sprouts and ice and chia seeds. And like by the end of it, I was just tired. Like yesterday, I was like, I can't eat this anymore. Like I need different food, which is why I really believe like it needs to be supervised. And now as I'm coming out of it, finally today feel like I'm having less bloating. I finally today am introducing more different colors of my vegetables, and I've never been so excited to eat a quinoa salad before. Like that in and of itself is a big what do I say? A win that I wasn't expecting. Like if I look backwards, like what Satsang was telling us, if I look backwards, if I look forwards, I was starting to get like, oh my gosh, like how am I ever going to keep going? And for me now to look backwards and say like, oh, like just yesterday I was like barely able to eat anything anymore. Like I couldn't eat this green soup anymore. Give me other colors. And so today I was able to like really celebrate, and really that gave me confidence to say like, wow, I really pushed through something that was really hard, and now I get to eat this quinoa salad with red pepper and yellow pepper and beet and quinoa, and get to like appreciate this little thing that actually is really big. And I'm so excited that I'll be able to eat nuts again soon. I'll be able to eat eggs again soon. I'll be able to eat fish again soon. Yeah, so when it comes to detox and beauty, definitely do it with proper supervision. Have you ever done a detox, Satsang?
I have, but many years ago, I have to say. It hasn't been recently. I haven't. I sort of have shared the same idea that you had before this detox, is that our bodies are quite strong. And just because I share that doesn't mean that I'm correct. That's actually something about me. Just because I have an opinion, I never say that I'm correct. It just happens to be my opinion. I haven't been called lately to do a detox. Maybe someday. Many years ago, I did a couple of them. And I did feel a lot better afterwards. Maybe it's laziness now. I'm not. Who knows? Who knows the reason why? I just don't feel particularly called one way or the other. Maybe because my focus is on other things right now. I'm not sure.
Maybe you're just living a cleaner lifestyle than you were back then.
Who knows? Who knows what the reason is? I just know that I have very good intuition, so I don't feel called to do something. I generally don't really worry about it that much. You know what I mean? And so that's where I am right now with detoxes.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Heather, are you still here? No, she's not here. Okay. Hello.
Hi,
Have you ever
Hi.
how do we pronounce your name?
Anjali with the J.
Hi, Anjali.
Nice to meet you. Global Namaste.
Global Namaste, Global
Namaste.
Namaste.
Have you ever
Very
done
beautiful talk you guys were having between each other, detox and everything.
Thank you.
So Reena, Dr. Anjali is a resident contributor. She's there on most of the episodes, and she's a top-class physiotherapist and also women mentor coach as well. So you all can be keeping in touch with each other. Reena, you're glowing today, so you're happy. You're taking care of your skin, which is beautiful. And thank you for bringing satsang. Satsang actually is a very good Hindi and Gujarati word for the language. It means joining together in the hymns. You know?
I know that I was actually given the name many years ago.
Yes.
I became a teacher in Kundalini Yoga, and the person, he's actually from India, who brought Kundalini Yoga to North America. I'm originally from Canada. He gave me the name Satsang, and so it's very meaningful for me. I actually changed it legally when I was in my 20s, and I love the name. So it's very meaningful to me, the name Satsang, because
It's a very amazing name. So
Thank you.
when
Thank
the
you.
Indians get together and
Mhm.
they're in a semi-religious or social mood, they say, let's have satsang together, which means let's get together and enjoy good vibes. So there you are. It's a very beautiful name. And
Thank you.
satsang, you, Rena, Nita's Herbal, Nita Singh, Amrita should really get cracking very fast. If any one of you are a good leader, lead the way and get the online consultation going, because it's time that you can share your knowledge to a lot of other people, which will be very beautiful. So Anjali, you get in there. Amrita, if you can lead the way, or Vaishali or Seema, somebody needs to start leading professionally now. Join together and sell your consultancy and services together, because it'll be very useful for each other. And thank you, Reena. Thank you, Satsang in Israel. You are now part of family. Satsang, you can join.
Oh, I'm so happy. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, you can join any episode you like. Reena will keep you in touch. Thank you very much. We're going to move to Dr. Anjali as well, because she has got some wonderful points for us today. So Amrita, Anjali, take it over and let's say temporary goodbye to Israel.
Thank you, Renan. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Heather,
Thank
and thank
you.
you, Satsang. Please do join again. And it's time to move from Israel to India, where we have